Greetings, Minecrafters, and welcome to another exciting discussion, another Minecraft discussion on all things well-being. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am here today to kind of discuss all I want for Christmas is less anxiety. So it's kind of like when you're little kids, and especially in second and third grade when you're often missing teeth, right? Remember singing that? All I want for Christmas is my two front teeth, and you go, right? So all I want for Christmas is less anxiety. And that's it for my singing. So here's the thing. The holidays can be really awesome for many people. And like spectrum thing, right? So we've got people who really want them to go away. And I'm not saying that with any kind of judgment because I get that. I had a time in my life where I didn't need to really entertain the idea of all that. And then there's the whole middle where it's okay, but you got to tolerate Aunt Tessie who chews with her mouth open and says all kinds of weird political stuff and makes everybody go, and then we've got like people who just have a pretty awesome time. So it's, it is what it is. Just the holidays do, I think even when it's you've got a good, a good family, there's no such thing as perfect. It's set on seizure mode right there. But you still got to tolerate some stuff, right? I mean, that's just how it is. I myself have to tolerate gaudy, colored bulbs. My husband is Mr. Christmas, so those 70s fire hazard bulbs, I'm stuck with those forever because he loves them, so he's very adorable with his fire hazard bulbs. But if God forbid he got hit by a meteor or something, I'm still not going to get my white lights on Christmas because I'd be feeling terribly about all the memories with him and his having so much fun wrapping those fire hazards around the tree. And actually, he's been very concerned about a Christmas tree shortage for like the last week and a half, which is kind of comical if you think of where we live in northern Vermont. And even though we don't cut our own trees down, we go and buy them and purchase and support people and whatever who's selling them. But, I mean, you've seen the backyard. Like, push came to shove, we'd be okay, but he's kind of funny. Then he got home and sat on the floor and pouted like Eeyore for like 15 minutes. He thought it was too small and leaning and all that. Anyway, Mr. Christmas. Okay, so you've got those people. And you've got here people want it to go away, and you've got the whole middle. So right now we're going to entertain a Holiday Jeopardy, which I usually spell wrong. It's one word I'm a decent speller. That's one word that just throws me. So we're going to jump straight into family. I'll take opinions for 500. Okay, so here's the thing. People have opinions, and they tend to come out with a megaphone on the holidays. There's lots more drinking. People are thrown together, don't necessarily want to be. A lot of people do want to be together, but you've usually got a couple of those in the family that you didn't really have like a special order for, you know what I mean? And they showed up, delivered anyway. And so the whole thing is, remember the Shenpa talk we had, where we can feel that urge when somebody says something ridiculous that we perceive as ridiculous, or maybe super over the top politically, or super over the top with whatever. And that Shenpa is like, it's like erupting like a volcano. Like you want to reach over and go, or boop, or just plain be quiet, or whatever. Or you want to react, and because you think you know better, maybe you do even know better. Remember where that goes. It just doesn't go anywhere good. When we erupt, we walk around erupting, it doesn't go anywhere good, and that person isn't worth it, and it isn't worth whoever's hosting it. And it just, so remember that the only meaning we give to something is, or the only meaning it has, is the meaning we give it. So whatever Aunt Tessie says about, the prime minister of whatever, and who said what to do, who cares? Unless it's something hateful and anti-somebody, then you got to always stand up for that stuff. I'm not saying that. If it's sort of like their really super radical opinion on something, just take it as a learning experience, or sit there with a perma smile and be like, you sound really ridiculous, so I'm not listening, can't make me. But they don't have to know, right? So just say no to the opinions. Next is judgment, family judgment. We got, what do you mean? You're not married yet? It makes me think of the movie My Big Fat Greek Wedding. It's time to make babies. You're old. And when people, sometimes it's the grandparents or the great-grandparents. It doesn't have to be. We're fortunately we got very good ones on my husband's side. And but it can be this chiming in about you're not married yet. You're still in that same job. Or why don't you have a job yet? Are you in my shoes in my life? I don't think so. So disregard, because judgment, remember, is about the person saying whatever it is they're saying, and has zero to do with you. Even if it's personalized and your name is in every single sentence that leaves their mouth. It has nothing to do with you, and it has everything to do with them, because being critical is about something missing on the inside. So if they're being critical of you, they're the one who's got the hole to fill with something, and they're attempting to fill it by elevating themselves by putting you down. So just walk out the door and give yourself a grown-up timeout. Grown-up timeouts are incredibly useful during the holiday season. Just just walk outside, find an excuse to whatever, and then go do it. Remember, your house, your rules. If you're hosting, you have every right. You can make a joke out of it. My way to deal with, stressful situations, well, depending on, you can't always inject humor into everything. However, I am very often just use humor. You can do that. You can make a joke out of, whoever's the first one who says a political comment gets to do the big heap of dishes left over from Christmas Eve. There you go. And if a few people open their mouths, then it's just more people to do the dishes. Food. Okay, we'll take vegans for 300. Okay. This can be something challenging to deal with because, as you know, what's my friend say? My rooftop friend is a vegan, the most low-maintenance vegan I've ever met. She doesn't eat anything with eyes or a mother. That's pretty clear. Nothing with eyes or a mother. In my world, it doesn't leave a lot left. But she was an incredible cook before she had her health issues. Non-vegan. She comes from a big Italian family, actually. And oh my gosh, the Feast of the Seven Fishes. I was around for all that as a kid. And her nanny, and oh my God, not meaning pay her nanny, but that's what she called her grandmother. Sweet, adorable little Italian grandmother. And wow, could the whole family cook. And so she kind of went out of that because of health issues and went into being a vegan. And she's the most low-maintenance vegan I've ever met in my life. She brings her own stuff with her. And every once in a while, she'll very, kindly kind of just invite, you want to try this? And so she brought her amazing cooking skills into that. But we go away every year down by Lake George, and she brings all her own stuff. We go out to eat one night, and it's a place that has a big salad bar, so she's fine. But the whole point of this is if you've got high-maintenance relatives, friends, whoever, you can, if they've got this, and a million allergies, just say, well, I've got tons of fresh veggies. I'm going to leave that up to you to keep yourself safe and comfortable. Done. No more explaining, because the more we explain, the more we put it out there that we feel guilty and shameful or embarrassed or gush. No gushing, especially if it's your house. No gushing. Just, I'm going to leave that up to you. I think it's better. That's it. Okay? And then my friend, she literally comes with enough for herself and other people. And it all keeps her safe. Really, the only thing to be concerned about is kids with allergies, obviously, because they don't know. But adults and grown-ups with allergies can take care of it, just like the vegans take care of themselves. If you're used to doing a huge spread on Hanukkah, I'm just not saying Hanukkah as much, only because it was so early. Wow, that catch up. That was so fast. But I want to include Hanukkah because Hanukkah is a very cool holiday to include, and also I know that some of our friends have really good traditions that they do with their families. So if you like to, kind of control it because you have the thing you do, and okay, that's fine. Just own that. I'm thinking of this whole Seven Fishes thing. But actually, my rooftop friend's whole family got involved in that. This was kind of neat. Well, the women, to be truthful, but they had a bunch of people cooking like a community, sort of. Other than that, it's good to delegate. Often, not always, people either love to cook, if they do either one, or love to bake. And sometimes you love to cook and do a little baking. That's me. I love to cook, regular dinner food and stuff, and I do a little bit of baking. Our oldest son's fiance, Jamie, is this a baking wizard, and she just bakes all this stuff, and she made these, I'm calling them caramel bars, they probably have an actual name, but she made them at Thanksgiving, and they're like crack. I can't even tell you. I had 3 in one day for breakfast, no joke. So if you've got a Jamie that bakes, sign her up. I mean, why do you need to control it? I wouldn't, or just bake one thing yourself and give her the rest. Something like that. And then if you are that person that wants to do it all yourself, good. Again, just own it, because people usually really want to bring stuff. I know I growing up, I knew, and actually largely because of my rooftop friends' family, and also because of my grandmother, I learned early never to go anywhere empty-handed. So I know my rooftop friend, when I say, oh, don't worry about it, don't bring anything, and then I stop myself, she can no longer not bring something. than like not breathe oxygen. She's just culturally, she cannot do it. People want to bring stuff. It makes them feel good. So even if you don't need anything, say, oh, wine would be fine, or maybe bring a Pellegrino or non-alcoholic seltzer, whatever. Just give them something to do, because that makes people feel like they're contributing. The gift-giving thing, I don't know why I left this blank, because I think I just didn't get there yet. Okay, so shipping stuff. This is stuff to not worry about, because you can't control it. Oh no, what if it doesn't get here till Christmas Eve? Or what if it gets here the 28th? We had that happen last year with our middle daughter. She had most of her things under there, but her big thing got there the 26th. But here's the thing, she was 23 years old. Do I wish it got there in time? Of course, but she's not 5, and she got it. So unless they're little kids, my suggestion there would be to go to an actual store, even if it maybe one big thing's on its way and you can make something, I don't know, say something, I almost said make something up. Well, you can about that. But as long as they have some stuff under the tree wrapped that you feel safe about, do that. Other than that, if it's for anybody who's like teenager on up, you just say it's the Rona, and there's a shortage of workers all over the place, across the country, I'm sure, world. And shipping is delayed, and it's not about that anyway, and that's how it is. Or it's your partner or whatever. They'll be fine. Whenever it does get there, they'll appreciate it, and it'll be there by itself. Maybe even give it more attention. So there's that. There's the whole budget thing. It stresses people out, and it's really good if you can take an adult time out and step out of the Christmas current. And I want to be really careful because I'm not a fan of hypocrisy. So for those of you who didn't see previous video, I was really open about my own, with my ADHD and my fast mind issues, and I, way back when the kids were little, and some of it wasn't deep, some of it was just being a good mommy and loving them to pieces and wanting them to have a nice Christmas, and it was just exciting when they were little, the whole Santa thing, and part of it was deep. I got sucked into a Christmas wormhole because I still had wounds. I was actually really kind of starting out. Not starting out, but let's say starting is here, and I'm like here now is probably like here, so still in that zone. And I still had wounds, bleeding from deprivation and shame from growing up in my addicted, violent, shameful house as a child. And I still was, so I did not realize it at all for a while. Then I came into having an awareness that this was largely some of my motivation was to really, try to fill those holes. But I couldn't stop it. Like I got to a point where I was aware of it. I had to really work at it to fill myself up in the ways that I needed to be filled up, authentically, and really doing the inner work. Because soul hole filling, I could call it my third book. It's like trying to water flowers. There's a hole in the back of the can, so your flowers get some water, but it's not enough because it's leaking out the back. So when we fill, these wounds up with, shopping or alcohol or sex or whatever, right? It's a quick thing. So I was a mix, genuine, authentic mommy, sucked into the wormhole of the commercialism, right? Because they market family right now, right? Market ideal family right now, and the deprivation, the shame base. So just pay attention to that and realize to step out of the current when you need to. Just step into the place of, okay, if it weren't Christmas right now for the next 15 minutes, do I really need this or that or the other thing? And then let go of the shipping dates because you can't control it. Okay, lastly, needless worrying, the what ifs and catastrophizing. Oh, what if they can't get here for Christmas Eve? What if somebody's coming on a plane and my daughter's coming from California and the what if the weather, and when there's an ice storm and there's something and a typhoon, a monsoon, and with Armageddon, we're all done anyway, and they should close the airport. And what if the weather? We checked, the weather. Forget about the weather because you can't control it. What if my Christmas cards don't get here in time for me to send them out? That's another big who cares. Then you write on the back, Happy New Year. In the scheme of things, it doesn't matter. Most people look at them, they see the new changes. Okay, new baby. You got married, or you did a nice backyard photo with the golden retriever, good for you, and they stay in the fridge for like, a month or so, and then it gets recycled anyway. So maybe, or just don't send them. Or all those, the companies like Snapfish and stuff, I actually did New Year's cards for years, and I think one year they turned into St. Patrick's Day cards because I just didn't get around to it. Realize it's just Christmas cards, and like in Kindergarten Cop, they would say, it's not, or Arnold Schwarzenegger, it's not a tumor, it's just Christmas cards. Who cares? And then the cleaning thing. What if I can't get the house clean? Oh my God, they're coming over and they're going to look at things. And Loretta LaRoche, one of my favorite comedians, does a whole thing with that. And she grew up in Brooklyn. I got to watch the time. So she said her mother was constantly saying, oh, they're coming. They might come. People could stop by and they're going to stop by and look at the things you haven't done. Right? You didn't, so clean the potty, clean the kitchen. Those are the two most important spots. Declutter and let it go. No one's looking under your refrigerator for dust bunnies. Sure as heck not me. Really, below the knees and above the eyes, that's all that matters. Stop catastrophizing and just realize that when it really comes down to it, even the holidays only have the meaning we give it. It's just a day on the calendar for those who need to think that. And just make it the best, most authentic experience you possibly can, because these life minutes now, today, before Christmas, when we're getting ready, or Hanukkah, when it's Hanukkah time, these life minutes on this day are important. And so not to let those go for the eventual week-ish later, it's just ridiculous. So there you go. Holiday Jeopardy. All I want for Christmas is less anxiety. All right, this is Kimberly Quinn signing off from my very busy basement in northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.